Lesson 80. More about ook. In this lesson, we need to talk about a spelling variation that you will soon see, and that involves the word ook. And this is actually part of a larger theme that you're going to see as you study Greek, that there can be lots of little changes in spelling, lots of little variations, especially at the ends of words, I think.
Yes, because those ends of words are often affected by the beginning of the next word, as we see with this spelling variation with ook.
And we see this same phenomenon in English. Earlier in the book, we studied the difference between the word a and an. A book, an apple. There, your choice of whether to use a or an is affected by the next word.
Mm-hmm.
That is, whether the next word starts with a consonant or a vowel. And that's really all that's happening here. So this should be nothing too foreign to our readers and listeners.
The only extra layer that we have here is it's not just vowel or consonant, like a, an. It's the type of vowel or consonant as well, because ook with a kappa goes before words that start with vowels that have smooth breathings. So ook a me. A me has a smooth breathing, and so it's a kappa at the end of ook. But with rough breathing, so if we're negating and then there's a word that follows the form of ook, and it begins with a rough breathing, so the example in the book is ook he mes. Because he mes starts with a rough breathing, that h sound, it's hard for the mouth to make ook he mes, and that gets into the aspiration thing we were talking about last lesson, where the kappa turns into a chi, and we get ook he mes, which flows nicely into that rough breathing, ook he mes.
Because when you say the rough breathing, the air is moving through your mouth. But when you say the letter kappa, that's a special kind of letter called a stop. And it's called a stop because the air stops. And so a kappa is a letter that causes the air to stop, whereas with a rough breathing, the air continues to flow. And so those two are hard to pronounce together for that very reason. So with the letter chi, the air continues to move just as the rough breathing does. So that makes a nice, smooth connection between those two words.
Right. And then what if the word after the form of ook is a consonant?
Well, then it just stays oo.
Which makes sense, because if we say ook and then we have a consonant after it, that stop you were talking about happens, and it's hard to keep going. So ook trajo, there's stopping and starting that I have to do. It's a lot easier to say u trajo because it just flows.
And especially with the verb trejo, because technically the letter tau is also a stop, like our English letter T. So a quick review here. The word oo in ancient Greek has three possible spellings, ook, oo, or uch, and they all depend on how the next word starts.
Mm-hmm.
If the next word starts with a vowel with a smooth breathing, you get ook. If the next word starts with a vowel with a rough breathing, you get uch. And if the next word starts with a consonant, you get oo. And in fact, in this particular book, you won't even see the form uch. You won't see omicron upsilon chi. You'll only see it here in this lesson just for your knowledge. But in all the exercises, you'll see either oo or ook. So for this particular book, you only have to remember two spellings. So Catherine, let's look at a couple of exercises and see this particular spelling change in action, as in action verbs. In number 1, we have ook, because the following word starts with a vowel, that is a vowel with a smooth breathing. So we have ook a me. But in number 2, the following word starts with a consonant.
Right. So in that case, it's u. So u trajo.
And I'm sure our readers will notice that Utrecho is much easier to say than Uktrecho.
Ugh.
Not only does it sound better, it's easier to say.
And this is something that if our listeners, as they continue in ancient Greek, they may see in other textbooks a term called euphony, which basically means that something sounds good. All of this that we're talking about here falls into that category of euphony, making things sound better and easier to say.
The word euphony is Greek. It comes straight from Greek.
Yeah.
The EU at the beginning simply means good, and then phone, that root word means voice or sound, right? So
Right.
euphony literally means good sound.